So Disney just had another big problem that I'll call the Figment Fiasco. Disney has had an ongoing issue with people buying product and reselling it online. And another huge example of this just came out a couple days ago. Special for the International Festival of the Arts at Epcot this year, Disney decided to release what was sure to be a popular item, a popcorn bucket that looks like Figment from Journey into Imagination. Now, Figment's a popular character, especially with festival items. It was obvious this was going to be a very popular item. The bucket's priced at $25, which for a Disney popcorn bucket is pretty normal or so. And on release day, sure enough, out came the crowds. People were waiting over 6 hours for one of these popcorn buckets. And wouldn't you know, within just a few hours, they're popping up on eBay. Not just for a little price, they're being sold for $1,000 and more for a $25 popcorn bucket. Here we go again. See, Disney has had an ongoing issue with this group of people that we call the resellers. They go in, they scoop up something that's brand new on release, try to buy tons of it, and then sell it online for massive markups and profits. And this has been an ongoing problem because not only are they making a ton of money that they really shouldn't be, they're denying the product for other Disney guests and purchasers. You've got a small group of people that are hoarding all of this stuff and really just making a mess of the whole thing. Disney finally decided to start combating this, and they started putting limits on the number of items that people could normally purchase, especially if it's something that could be in high demand. If you go to a Disney park now, or if you go to the Disney stores that's at the parks, you will oftentimes see items that will have a sign on it that says limit of 2 per guest. This is to help combat these resellers and make sure that they're not walking out with a whole ton of whatever item it is and leaving more for the guests in the parks who want to be able to purchase. For whatever reason, they didn't do that with Figment. I don't know why, but it's a perfect example of why Disney really needs to take some bigger action against it. You see, these resellers have a habit of buying up the items, marking them up on eBay for ridiculous amounts, denying regular guests the opportunity to get them except at rip-off exorbitant fees, and causing these huge scenes and lines while they're trying to grab everything and interfering with the park experience of everybody else around them. Now, in fairness, the Disney collecting community does have a number of people who live near the parks, and they will do what is called a park pickup. Basically, for the people that don't live near parks, like me, these are people that we know that have a good reputation, that if we hear something is getting released, we'll say, hey, I live in Missouri, you live there, would you be willing to do a pickup for me and go buy this item for me because I can't get there? In exchange for purchasing the item, we pay the price of the item, we pay shipping and handling and packaging, and then we also pay a little bit to cover their time and effort as a way to say thank you. Typically, that would be about twice the cost of the item. So in the case of a Figment bucket, you're looking about $50. That's meant to cover everything, and that's reasonable. But when you start seeing prices like these on eBay, where it's 10 times the price, there's a problem. This is 2 days later, and you can still see the prices that people are charging are utterly ridiculous. This is what those limits are designed to stop, and Disney didn't do that here. And I mean, I love the fact that you've got a small group of people that are doing things like this, where, hey, $1,000 and we'll donate to charity. Of course, you have no way to verify that that's actually being donated to charity, but I do appreciate the effort. I appreciate the humor that's in there, and I appreciate that it's a way to kind of poke and rib at this. But really, Disney? Why did we allow it to begin with? Why is it still being allowed Why have we not dealt with this? And why are people outside still putting up with it and buying it and encouraging it? That's just as much of the problem. Between Disney itself allowing it and between people taking part in it, it's something that needs to stop. It's something that needs to be dealt with. And unfortunately, this isn't the only area that Disney's got a problem. I'll be honest, there were some people doing some wonderful things with it. There were a handful of people that were buying a bunch of them and then handing them out to people in the park, especially kids, who wouldn't or couldn't wait in that long line for it. Okay, that's really cool, but at the same time, there shouldn't be such a whole massive confusion going on that people even are thinking about having to do that. There shouldn't have to be a 6-hour line because of all these hoarders and resellers. Everybody should have an opportunity to purchase it without having to rely on the chance of somebody buying a bunch in line and then handing them out free. This whole thing is a fiasco. It really is. And thank you to those who were doing nice things like buying some to give away, but they were the small minority. They're the exception to this. And there were some people in line that are honestly buying it legitimately for them and family members. That's great. But the number of people that were buying a bunch of them and reselling them is ridiculous. It's long overdue for Disney to take action against this and to put a stop to it. And I don't know why they haven't done so. They've put limits on some things, but that's not enough. So here's 3 things that need to happen to put an end to this, as well as a few other issues going on. 1, Disney needs to absolutely enforce the 2 per guest or 2 per family. If you've got a group of people walking up and there's 4 people and each of them are buying 2, I'm sorry, you are 1 group, 2 items. Enforce it, and if they don't like it, too stinking bad. Come back the next day. Make them scan their tickets when they purchase, so that way they can't come back and purchase more later. But it limits them to only 2. Disney does have systems in place to do this. The annual pass holder items, for example. You've got to scan your pass to be able to get one, and it registers that you've purchased one. They do this with the pass holder magnets as well. Make people scan their tickets. You've already bought 2. No more for you. Sorry. Too bad. This should go not just for popcorn things, but pins. Anything that is a new release pin or a limited edition or something like that needs to be limited to. Collectibles, souvenirs, plushes, yes, even clothing. Anything that is a brand new release that could have high demand, no more than 2, and enforce it. Number 2, they need to shut down these resellers. Take some action against them. They may have the option to be able to file a claim with eBay because they're not an authorized seller of Disney merchandise. They're not a licensed reseller of Disney merchandise. Does that not violate eBay's policies? Disney needs to investigate this. I mean, after all, they are the company that sued a preschool for painting Mickey Mouse on the wall. And yet they're allowing this to go on. They need to be taking action there. Not just against the websites where the stuff is being resold, but they also need to be taking direct action against people who do this. You buy something, then you resell it on eBay for a huge markup when it's first released. Hey, guess what? There goes your annual pass with no refund. That's already in writing for the annual passes that they will not do this. Come on, Disney, let's start enforcing it. You got a listing on eBay for a huge markup? There goes your pass. Oh, and by the way, we're going to trespass you as well because what you're doing is a violation of our rules. Not only do you not get your pass and your tickets, you're not allowed on property anymore. It's gone on long enough. Time to start closing these people out, shutting them down, and make the parks open and accessible to the other people who would like these things. And this isn't just an issue with reselling stuff there. Let's finally do some action against the people who make the fake pins and the rip-off scrapper pins in China and resell them on Amazon and eBay in huge lots. Can we shut them down? Yeah, that's a whole nother rant. Really, Disney, for somebody For a company that's known for wanting to protect their property, you're really falling down on the job on this. So that's two things that Disney needs to do, but there's a third that other people need to do. The people watching this video, the people who frequent the sites, the ones buying this stuff. Stop it! We need to come together and not buy the stuff at these huge markup prices, not give these resellers money, not keep encouraging them to do the same thing. When we see somebody who does it, come on, let's embarrass them a little bit. Let's call out these people reselling the markup stuff. Let's, as a community, come together and say, no, this is wrong. This is completely wrong. Again, I understand if you're purchasing for people who can't get there. Cover a little bit of time and expense. This is something that we do. Two, I can even see 3 times the price. Goodness, yeah, 75 is high. But 200? No. No. We all know a ripoff when we see one. Let's call them out and put a stop to it and stop sending these people money. Let's help put them out of business. Let's deny them the access to the goods. Let's knock them off property, and let's not buy the stuff to begin with. And we might see this all stop. When the company and when the Disney fans come together, they call it out, they come against this kind of stuff, then and only then are we going to see an end to this kind of ridiculousness, this fiasco that goes on. And maybe we can actually see people in the parks have an opportunity to buy something special like they should have when they're there. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to know your comments and your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. Is there something else that could be done to stop this? I'd love to hear. Do you totally think it's okay? I'd love to hear that as well as your justification for it. Let me know. Thank you so incredibly much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and thank you as well to my patrons and my YouTube members for their support. Thank you so much for watching as well. God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.